We're absolutely delighted to launch today the toolkit for companies to think about how they address human rights in conflict-affected settings. And the time for a toolkit like this could not be more important. Conflict globally is on the rise and it's changing. And so companies have to address their responsibilities to make sure that not only are they respecting human rights, but they're doing it in a way that is really careful about the conflicts in which they're operating, whether that's in a post-conflict society, whether that's somewhere where there's social unrest, whether that's a country where there is actually war between different groups. Many companies are operating in all these and other situations.
I'm Roper Cleland and I'm one of the co-authors of this guidance.
And I'm Yadira Rossini and I'm one of the other authors.
What I learned in the process is the importance, first of all, of consulting with many different stakeholders and getting different perspectives, from our corporate advisory committee to other civil society actors, governments and international institutions. And in doing that and gathering all those different perspectives, you quickly see the complexity of the issues in many different environments. So the guidance was really an opportunity to try to acknowledge that complexity, but also say you've got to start somewhere. So rather than getting overwhelmed by it, here is a framework and some ideas and some case studies, examples and tools to help you break that down.
Conflict doesn't just come in one form. It comes in different shapes, different sizes, and business really needs to understand that. It's not something that is black and white. It's not going to sort of jump up at you and say, hey, I'm conflict. It's something that builds. It's something that can come from left field. And also, it always usually involves people. Now, when you're dealing with people, especially from a business perspective, it's so important to make sure that you take the time to listen and to understand and to have those conversations. Because only by taking the time and engaging are you able to actually start building up trust. And it's only through trust that you can actually start having the conversations that are going to help you resolve the conflict, or at least get a better perspective of where people are coming from to start you on that journey of how you can work together to actually try to find resolutions that are going to work for everybody.
I think it's a matter of survival. People are increasingly concerned about where their products come from. They don't want to feel that their products are coming from as a source of conflict. We've seen that with diamonds in the past. I think that's going to spread to other commodities. So it's critical that business should pay attention to that.
And on building on that point about complexity, I think one of our biggest concerns as we developed the guidance was to make sure that we recognize this complexity. I mean, we work with it every day, but for our guidance, you need to make it practical. So I think the challenge was, how do you reflect this complexity and prompt people to think about it? That's at the end of the day what the guidance is about. But then also, how do you not oversimplify some of the human rights issues and the conflict issues that are so incredibly difficult? And we didn't want to not be sensitive to that and make something that would completely sound like we're overriding the importance of things. So that was one challenge. And then for me, the great thing about the guidance is that it's as much a guidance as it is a discussion paper. So we've posed some very tough, very difficult questions that not one company or one sector will be able to answer. And we hope that now with the implementation of the guidance, we're able to feed that back in for whenever the new edition comes out.
Someone is starting a new business and is thinking about operating in any area, and in particular a conflict zone, whatever that may be, please think about starting with a clean sheet of paper. Take the time to understand what the issues are, who the stakeholders are, and how you might be able to make a difference in their lives. Talk about it from their perspective, understand what they want to achieve, and try and figure out what you could do to help change their lives. And I think that's the right place to start.
One of the things we talked about quite a lot is it's really important to be able to action what you find from going through a due diligence process or from how you understand issues. It will only be as effective as your ability and your willingness to act on the matters at hand.